And we got to go to Toronto to chat with a Calgary guy. TSN's Director of Scouting, Craig Button, joins us on the heels of a big shutout victory. Hey, good morning, Craig, or afternoon to you. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. My sister-in-law taught in Goderich many years ago, so very familiar. It's right on the western part of Ontario, right there on the lake.
I'm glad you pointed that out, because I said to Lee Genier, who's an original Ontario guy, you know Lee, I said, have you heard of a Goderich, Ontario? He says, it's Goderich. He knew, so thank you, Craig. So, listen, to quote Brian Burke...
You got to get out more, Rod. You got to get out more, Rod. Seriously, like there's a beautiful part of this world in our own country that you need to see.
Y'all hit Western Ontario. It's high up on my list. Trust me, it is. Are they measuring the widths of the streets in Toronto for the Stanley Cup parade, or at least casting the statue of the youngster? I even got his name, Kallgren. Erik Kallgren, but he's got to be the talk of Toronto today, Craig.
Well, he should be the talk of Toronto. I mean, number one, they needed a performance from their goaltender that, didn't put them in a hole, that didn't have them skittish, that didn't have them chasing the game. And Erik Kallgren delivered that exactly. You know what's amazing, Rod? It amazes me. Like a shutout in his first NHL start. So that's that's 1,000 save percentage, right? They haven't had a save percentage amongst their two goaltenders combined over 900 since December 1st. And now you know what the conversation is? Get this. Should Kallgren start on Thursday night versus the Canes? It's like I feel like I could just pull out my hair, poke myself in the eyes, because the amount of stupidity that exists, it knows no limits. Einstein said it best. The difference between genius and stupidity, genius has its limits.
I know, I'm so with you on that. But by the way, let's just say he continues on a roll here. And for his sake and the Leafs, I hope he does. What kind of a headache does that create when you got Jack Campbell and Peter Mrazek, who are here to do this? Like, is there a headache on the horizon here for the Leafs?
The headache is if you don't have goaltending. So if you want to know what type of headache was happening, all you have to do is go back to December 1st, get a glimpse into Kyle Dubas, Sheldon Keefe, and the players. Rod, you know this. The players are never, ever going to say, yeah, we need better goaltending or we're expecting better. They're always going to defend each other, and that's what they should do, and that's what we should expect. It doesn't take away from the facts. Facts are the goaltending for the Toronto Maple Leafs since December 1st has been one of the worst in the league, right at the bottom of the league. Let's not kid anybody. So, there's no headache in having good goaltending. We talk about competition, right? We want competition, on the ice, within different positions. Now they get a shutout performance when they absolutely needed just some semblance of order in the net, and they got it. There's no headache here. And the bottom line is that if Kallgren continues on, we've seen this before. We've seen it from Andrew Hammond. We saw it from Jordan Binnington en route to a Stanley Cup. So I'm using two very different examples. Jordan was in the organization, had done very well in the minors, and they call him up because of the problem in the net. Andrew Hammond took the Ottawa Senators to the 7th game double overtime against the eventual Stanley Cup champion Pittsburgh Penguins. You're just looking for goaltending. I don't know if Kallgren can do what Binnington did. I don't know if he can do what Hammond did. But I'll tell you what, it's a start in the right direction. And there's no problem for the Toronto Maple Leafs when you're getting good goaltending. There's no headache there.
Can you please give me your analysis of the Colorado-Minnesota deal? Because I haven't seen a lot of analysis of it, and I found it a little interesting. Avalanche acquiring Nico Sturm from the Minnesota Wild for Tyson Jost, former Regina Pats property, as you know. 26-year-old Sturm has 9 goals, 8 assists with a -5 this year. The 24-year-old Tyson Jost has 6 goals, 8 assists. He's +1. First-round pick out of UND. Sturm can become an unrestricted free agent this summer. Tyson Jost under contract for next season at $2 million. What was your analysis of that trade?
Well, number one, Tyson Jost, the 10th overall pick, it just hasn't developed into the player that the Colorado Avalanche thought he did. Rod, I'm going to be very clear. He made a massive mistake leaving North Dakota after one season. It was a massive mistake. He was nowhere near ready to try his hand at the NHL. And you think back to Tyson, and I've known Tyson since he was 15 years old. He felt that the college route was best for him. He was patient all the way through. Played in Penticton. Then he went to North Dakota. Going along the steps. And then all of a sudden, he's the 10th overall pick, and he leaves school. I mean, so Tyson Jost, by leaving school after 1 year, where he didn't come close to dominating. He wasn't the best player in college hockey. He wasn't even close to being one of the best players. And now you want to jump to the NHL? Ultimately, what Tyson did is he created his own development problem, and he's never developed. You don't develop at the NHL level. You need to come into the NHL and produce. So what I see it now for Tyson, it's a new start. It's an opportunity. He wasn't going to have any traction in Colorado. I think it was clear to the Avalanche. I think it was clear to Tyson Jost. So now you get a fresh start in Minnesota. Expectations might be a little bit different for the Colorado Avalanche. They shed some dollars next year. Nico Sturm can come in and do exactly the same thing that Tyson Jost has done for them. Exactly the same thing. So it's a move where Minnesota says, okay, we get a player for next year. We got him under contract. We'll see what we got here. And they probably felt that keeping Nico Sturm might be a challenge. So it works out really well for both teams. I hope it works out for Tyson. I hope he finds traction in his game. I go back to Danny Cleary. Danny Cleary was a high draft pick. He jumped to the NHL. I mean, he'd been a good junior, and he just never was able to find his way. Chicago, Edmonton, down to Arizona. It wasn't until he got to Detroit that he really was able to find a place. And he became a real strong, solid player for the Detroit Red Wings. Tyson Jost might need this change to find some similar success in the NHL level. There's no question in my mind that Tyson has the sense, the competitiveness, the skills, but he wasn't ready to come to the NHL, and he just couldn't catch up with it. Hopefully he can do that here in Minnesota.
I think we only have 60 seconds, but what is wrong with the Vegas Golden Knights in your estimation?
Everything. There's not one thing that's wrong. It's everything that's wrong. The goaltending is bad. The defensive play is bad. They don't score. They don't attack into the middle of the ice. They're not hard to play against. Where do you want me to start? Where do you want me to end? They got massive problems. And it might be just one of those years, Rod, simply where, they trade for Michael didn't play for a year, trying to find his way. They got the Mark Stone injury, Alec Martinez. They just haven't seemed to find footing. You remember when the Tampa Bay Lightning went to the Stanley Cup final in 2015, lost to the Chicago Blackhawks, and then missed the playoffs? The Vegas Golden Knights might be in a very similar spot. It might be in the best interest of their organization to just seems that everything has conspired against us this year. Let's just step back, let's reevaluate, and let's get ready for next year, because this team is not a very good team, and it certainly is not even close to being any type of contender.
I would suggest that is what they need to do, but I don't think their owner, Bill Foley, is going to allow that to happen, because I know the pressure that's been exerted within that organization. Craig, I can't wait to see an Estevan at the Centennial Cup. That town is vibrating, the National Junior A Championship. They can't wait for you to get down there.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, we talk about how hockey touches everybody across the country and how it's all connected. Estevan's a great spot. It's just to be another great example to showcase the strong community love for hockey and how everybody's embraced. We're going to have a lot of fun, Rod. We're going to have a lot of fun.
I can't wait to show you the barn. It's one of the greatest Junior A facilities in the whole land. Thanks, Craig. Have a great day.
You too.
Craig Button, TSN's Director of Scouting, joining us from Toronto. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the RP Show on YouTube. And don't forget, we're live daily on YouTube from noon to 2 Eastern. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. And if you like the program, check around for other segments of the Rod Pedersen Show here on YouTube.